Everybody, Andy here again. Well, this video is going to be a response to a video called An Anthropological Introduction to YouTube, a video that I saw the other day, a video that was made well over a year ago now, and it was like a 55-minute lecture by a guy, I think he's from Kansas, and the lecture was to the Library of Congress in America, and it's well worth watching. It's all about YouTube, obviously. Being over a year old, it does look at the YouTube of a few years ago, and I'll post it as a link down there or across there, or wherever these links are nowadays. But watch that video and see what you think of it for sort of part one, because I think it's an amazing video. But this particular video is a video that I was going to make. I've been thinking about making for some time now, and it's just that watching that other video, that introduction video, really made me think, another sort of angle came about. Because one of the things that, talking about YouTube as that video is, and how things have moved on and what we're doing now, one of the aspects that has changed for me is that I have a sort of a group of friends here on YouTube who I've met on YouTube, should I say, but that relationship has moved elsewhere now, and I'm involved with sort of 2 or 3 little sort of groups of people, up to about sort of 8, 9, 10 people, but sometimes the groups are smaller as well, depending on the topic. And what we do, like, send out ideas for like an email thread, someone to send a picture out, or someone to send a link to a video, or someone to put a question up and ask for sort of responses. Sometimes those responses are serious, sometimes those responses are pretty crazy and pretty stupid, but it just shows you how these things have moved on. And I put this particular link to that particular video, that introduction video, up there the other day, and it's provoked an amazing conversation between the group of us, and I think there's about 8 or 9 of us out of the group that I put the link up to that have responded. I'm not going to name any of the people, but they're all people who are here on YouTube, people that some of whom I've met, some who I hope to meet at some time. But one question was whether anybody else does this type of thing as well, whether you've got a group that you interact with via email or something, or maybe even in other ways as well, off of YouTube, off of Twitter, off of Facebook, something different. And one of the things that comes out of this is that everybody is generally more open and more honest, because they're not in a public domain, shall we say. We say things amongst ourselves that we keep amongst ourselves, hence the fact that I'm not going to name any names. But during the course of this particular email thread, which as I said seems to have provoked quite a bit of debate, several sort of common threads have come about YouTube as it is now, and why people aren't on here, and why people started in the first place. So I'm going to do little bits about each one. The first sort of point that's come up was about why we start doing these videos, or why we got into YouTube in the first place. We stumble into it, most of us, but why do we then start making videos? Why do we get so involved with it? And one of the points that was made, some of these things hadn't really struck me, was that a lot of people do it because they're looking for something. They're missing something in their life. They're going through a bad patch in their life, and we can all think of, out of bad moods, out of bad times comes great art, and that happens a lot. I mentioned the other day in the video about how we always tend to talk about bad things rather than good things. We don't praise things so much. It's easier to talk about the bad times because sometimes you feel you need to, and that's what's happened with YouTube. A lot of people, they're going through personal difficulties, they've got a gap in their life somewhere, and that's why they then move on and go and do something else, because they don't need the site so much. And that's what some of these people are saying. Yes, they still enjoy the site, yes, they still watch videos, etc., they comment on videos, but they don't need it like they used to. Their life has moved on. So that's one particular aspect of it anyway. And one of the other reasons of why people maybe now are looking back, or why people feel that this site isn't what it was, so that particular video talks about, and if you watch it, you'll see a lot of people that you will recognise who are still here on the site now. You'll also see people that were on the site some time ago who aren't here anymore. And one of the people, say in this email thread, used this sort of analogy about college and how you start in college. For example, myself and all these other people that I'm talking about with the emails are people that started on the site around about the same time, that sort of 2006 sort of time. And as somebody said, it's like we were like the freshmen in college, or we were the new entrants in college, depending on where you come from. In 2006, we were the new kids on the block. It was a growing thing then, YouTube. It wasn't that big, it was more intimate, it was more personal, and we built up these sort of friendships with people because we were a small group. We collaborated on videos. You don't get quite so many collaborations now. We made greater friends now. It's not so easy to do that now because the site has grown. It's so much bigger. It's not so easy to get noticed. It's not so easy to notice other people that you want to. And we all sort of graduated, and we hit our peaks, or some people did, sort of 12 months later, should we say, in 2007 or the beginning of 2008, should we say. And then people have started to tail off. But as happens with colleges, you leave, or with work or something, you move on, you do something else, and you start interacting in a different way. Instead of meeting at your college or your university, you'll meet for a coffee somewhere, you'll meet in a bar or something, which is what myself and these people that I interact with, we now do it somewhere else. Yes, we do it on Facebook, we do it on Twitter, that type of thing, but we also do it on a more personal level in places like email threads or something like that, or maybe even Skyping between people, or now it's mobile phone technology. We meet these people, we've taken those relationships to a different level, to another place, should we say. So that's another aspect of it. One other point with the college analogy is that when you look back at something, and this has happened a lot with people, myself included, talk about the sort of 2006, 2007, that sort of group that came along there as being like a golden age, and it probably really annoys other people, but that's the way things go. Things move on, things evolve. We look back and we go, oh, it's not as good as it used to be. It probably isn't for us, because those people that you had there at the time, as I said, they've moved on. You latch yourself onto a particular group of friends, and then you don't explore. Maybe you get stuck into that way of doing things. And somebody else said that the problem with YouTube, we all moan about how it isn't as good as it used to be, how it's failing and how it's not there. You know, people aren't making videos. Yes, people are making videos. They're probably making more videos than have ever been made. The problem isn't with YouTube. The problem is with us. We are the problem, full stop. We're not, as I said, we get comfortable. We sit there and we don't make videos like we used to. We don't get involved for whatever reason it might be. But if you only get out of something like life, you only get out of it what you put in. If you don't make videos, well, you don't explore, you don't look for new people, and I'm guilty of that, as other people are. I'd say several people have come out and said that they don't explore. Other people have said that they actively go out and look for new people, something that I need to do. And maybe that's what we need to think about now. YouTube isn't failing us, we're failing YouTube in some ways, because we are the problem. If there's plenty of people out there, I find them as other people do, and I've found a few from this email thread already, great people who I haven't found. Yes, as I said earlier, it's harder to find people now than what it used to be, because there is so much going on. There's so much white noise trying to find, to pick out that one sort of point of light that's you want to find, should we say. But they are out there. If you've got the patience, if you've got the perseverance and the energy or whatever, you can find people that will appeal to you. There are plenty of people making videos out there. It's just sometimes you need to make a little bit of effort to find them. As I said, I'm as guilty as anybody. There is still a community going on. There's still a vloggerhood of people out there meeting up, interacting. They're just doing it in a slightly different way to what they used to do before. So I urge you to go and watch that video. It's 55 minutes long, but believe me, that 55 minutes goes very quickly. A couple of people in the email thread that said the same thing. They thought, oh right, I'll just put that on, watch the first 5 minutes, and 55 minutes later they've watched it, because it is made by people who get it. It's made by people who are serious about this particular subject, who've done a serious study about YouTube, and they have seen it for exactly what it is. I think you'll enjoy the particular video. So, and as I said earlier, I'd love to know if anybody else has these little groups of people that they interact with. We've got some things that are going on, there's discussions, and we break off into other little groups that discuss other things. A couple of little things that are coming, that are in the pipeline, which I'm not going to discuss now, but will be talked about when they arrive, shall we say. And once again, things that I don't think other people have done. Time will tell, as you know, something that's different. Maybe I'm lucky that I've got involved with a particular group of people, a particular group of friends, should we say, but maybe you're doing the same, and if you are, please let me know, because I'd love to think that other people are doing the same sort of thing. They're breaking off. I saw a comment earlier on Twitter about how people used to gather in stickams, something that I've never really done before, and that seems to have died down. Maybe those people have moved on and they've moved their relationship into a different level. So food for thought. Watch the video. I'd love to know what you think about it. Post a response, just put a comment or something there. Keep this discussion going as we've been doing with the email thread. Move it over to the video thread, should we say, or the comment box, and see what you think. I'd love to have your responses to that as well. Anyway, thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.